The alien vessel Serene Accord glided through the void like a shard of polished glass, its surface shimmering with soft violet light. Inside its observation chamber, Ambassador Threx stood motionless, for eyes fixed on the distant blue world slowly rotating ahead. "Earth," he murmured. A young aide stepped beside him, adjusting the glowing interface. "Final scans complete, Ambassador. The species has achieved faster-than-light travel within the last 40 years. 7 colonies confirmed. Energy signatures consistent with mid-tier civilizations." Threx folded his elongated hands behind his back. "Predictable progression?"
Yes.
"They fall precisely within expected development models." Threx allowed himself a faint nod. For centuries, the Galactic Union had followed the same elegant process. Young species rose, struggled, and eventually reached the stars. Then came the Union, offering guidance, protection, and unity, and they always accepted. "Prepare the diplomatic archives," Threx ordered. "Translate our greeting into all known human languages. Include trade offers and technological exchange proposals." The aide bowed. At once. As the Serene Accord entered the outer edges of Earth's system, Threx studied the data streams. Humanity was organized, surprisingly unified for such a young species. Their planetary governance appeared stable, their expansion controlled. "They will integrate easily," Threx said quietly. Within hours, the Union transmitted its formal greeting. The response came faster than expected. "Ambassador," the aide said, voice tightening slightly. "Earth has replied. They invite us to a location called Unity Station in orbit of their moon." "Efficient," Threx replied. "Proceed with the delegation." The shuttle detached smoothly, descending toward the designated coordinates. As it approached, the station came into view, sleek, symmetrical, and unmistakably disciplined in design. Not artistic, not decorative, purposeful. Threx felt the faintest flicker of curiosity. Inside the docking chamber, a human awaited them. A woman with silver-streaked hair and steady eyes. "Welcome," she said calmly. "I am Secretary General Alvarez." Threx inclined his head. "We bring an offer of peace and unity. The Galactic Union extends its hand to your people." Alvarez listened without interruption as Threx described centuries of stability, shared knowledge, and collective growth. When he finished, she simply nodded. "We appreciate your offer," she said. "However, we request 48 hours before giving our answer." Threx paused. 48 hours? No species had ever hesitated, but he smiled politely. "Of course." Yet as he turned to leave, something unfamiliar crept into his thoughts. For the first time in centuries, the pattern had shifted. Back aboard the Serene Accord, the atmosphere had subtly changed. "They are delaying," Threx said, standing at the center of the command chamber. Unusual behavior for a first contact scenario. The intelligence officer stepped forward, projecting intercepted signals into the air. Streams of encrypted human communication scrolled rapidly. "Ambassador, we have detected elevated defensive readiness across multiple orbital platforms," the officer reported. "Weapon systems are active, but not targeted." "Precautionary," Threx replied, though his tone lacked certainty. Another signal appeared. "Confirm arrival window." Titan-class deployment maintains silence. The room fell quiet. "Titan-class," Threx repeated. The officer hesitated. "No reference exists in Union databases." Threx's gaze sharpened. "Continue monitoring." Hours passed. Human encryption proved far more advanced than expected. Their networks were layered, adaptive, and deliberately obscured. This was not the behavior of a standard-tier civilization. "Ambassador," the aide said quietly, "their technological classification may be inaccurate." Threx did not respond immediately. Instead, he watched the void beyond the viewport. Something was wrong. 30 hours after the initial meeting, space itself began to distort. A ripple, no, a tear, spread across the darkness at the edge of the system. Every sensor on the Serene Accord flared at once. "Massive energy spike detected," the officer shouted. Then it emerged. A warship, not merely large, monumental. 12 kilometers of armored structure slid out of the distortion, its surface dark and angular, lined with countless weapon arrays. Behind it, a formation of destroyers followed in perfect synchronization. The ship radiated power, not elegance, not harmony, raw, overwhelming force. A calm human voice transmitted across all channels. UES Dominion Titan. Requesting docking coordinates. Silence consumed the alien bridge. Scan it, Threx ordered. Moments later, the officer's voice trembled. Reactor output exceeds Union dreadnoughts by a factor of 6. Shielding is fortress-grade. Weapon systems, unquantifiable. Threx felt something cold settle deep within him. This is not a tier civilization, he whispered. He opened a direct channel to Unity Station. Secretary Alvarez, he said carefully, one of your warships has arrived. Yes, she replied calmly. One of them. Threx's voice tightened. How many exist? A brief pause. Enough. For the first time in his long career, Ambassador Threx realized the Union had not come as guides. They had arrived unprepared. Threx returned to Unity Station with urgency he did not attempt to hide. The calm composure he once carried had fractured, replaced by something unfamiliar. Caution. Inside the same chamber, Secretary Alvarez stood waiting, unchanged. But this time, she was not alone. A human in a dark uniform stepped forward. Admiral Reyes. He introduced himself. Threx inclined his head slightly. We were not aware humanity possessed such vessels. Reyes studied him for a moment before speaking. 80 years ago, he began, we encountered something in deep space. The chamber dimmed as a projection appeared, countless mechanical entities, swarming like a storm of steel. Self-replicating war machines. Reyes continued. They consumed entire systems. You might call them extinction. Threx felt his breath still. We fought them for 5 years, Alvarez said quietly. Billions died. The images shifted. Burning worlds, shattered fleets, desperate last stands. We survived, Reyes added. But not the same. The projection changed again. Now it showed the Titan-class warship. We built these after the war, Reyes said. Each one designed to face a fleet like that alone. Threx stared at the image, understanding finally settling into place. Humanity had not reached the stars in peace. They had fought their way into survival. We did not respond immediately, Alvarez said, meeting his gaze. Because we needed to understand your intentions. Threx straightened. The Union offers protection, knowledge, and unity. Alvarez nodded. And we respect that, she said. But we will not join as a junior species. The star map shifted, revealing distant regions marked in red. Those machines are still out there, Reyes said. Dormant. Waiting. Silence filled the chamber. You built peace, Alvarez continued. We learned how to defend it. Threx exhaled slowly. For centuries, the Union had believed it understood the galaxy. But humanity had faced something far worse. Weeks later, the decision was made. Humanity joined the Galactic Union not as students, but as equals. Now, at the edge of known space, 2 ships drifted side by side. The elegant Serene Accord, and the towering Titan, builders and warriors. Peace, and the power to protect it.